Concept: The Short Story Elective 1。根據教育局喺2011年嘅統計，由最多學校教授嘅單元列起，我哋會睇到呢個職場英語同埋短篇故事都係比較熱門嘅 elective。咁 short stories 呢個 elective 咧都好多學校選擇教嘅。咁我哋又會喺呢個 elective 學到啲咩呢？ In this elective, students will learn to identify and understand the key features of a short story and read short stories with appreciation. 學生將會學識點樣去識別同埋理解一個故事嘅主要特點，並知道點樣去欣賞一啲特定嘅短篇小說。In the year, learners read and write specific aspects of a short story, such as setting, character, theme, dialogue, opening, and closing. They will also start to write their own story for the module. In this task, they will be required to write about 400 words. Also, in the SBA assessment, students will be tested on their oral and storytelling skills. They will present a speech or participate in a group discussion based on the topic assigned. So here are the common types of stories. Horror stories 恐怖嘅故事，或者驚慄嘅故事 Fables 寓言故事 Love story 愛情故事 Detective story 偵探故事 Ghost story 一啲鬼故啦 Fairy story 比較可能童話類嘅故事 Science fiction 科幻小說 Adventure story 冒險嘅一啲故事。唔知你又有冇讀過呢啲以上嘅普通類型呢？ Do you remember the elements in the story? Setting, characters, and plot. Here is a story organizer diagram. In the center, we can see the title of story, and the first level we can see the 4 quarters of the circle, which is the 4 most important elements of a story, that is characters, setting, the conflict, and the solution. And in the outermost circle, we see the 5 stages of a story. So first we have the introduction, where the setting and some of the characters are introduced. It is also called an exposition. And then we have the rising action, where the tension rises. Finally, we get up to a climax, where the main character usually encounters the largest problem in the story and tries to solve it. And then we have the falling action, where the story progresses and the tension starts to fall, and at the end, the resolution, where everything or some of the stuff are solved and the story reaches an end. So how to plan and write your story? First, we must establish what is the setting of your story. For example, where does your story take place? And when does it take place? Is it in the past, in the present, or in the future? Also, you should think about how the setting will affect your main character or the progression of the events in the story. So also remember, a setting can create an atmosphere that is the general mood of the story. And now that you have an overview of your entire story, you should think about how to place your events in the story. So which happens first and which comes next and what happens in the end. So there should be a beginning, a middle, and an end to your story. The events should also make sense as the story moves. Remember to be creative. It all starts with ideas, but where do these ideas come from? So they come from your daily life. Remember to read more, for example, stories or books, novels, newspaper articles. These all give you ideas which you can use in your writing. Also think about, do you want your story to be funny, sad, adventurous, or filled with impossible events? What events would create these types of stories? So think about the following. Who are your main characters? Remember to also give names to your main characters so that readers will know how to tell them apart. Also think about, what does she, he, or it like or dislike, and also what is your character's personality. So for example, remember to give the characters some names for easy identification. Even when you're talking about a robbery, you should provide some sort of distinction of roles between the characters. For example, in the middle of the story, a robber calling his accomplice by the name 阿手，就可以其中一個賊叫佢嘅同伙，即係嗌佢做阿手，即係記住俾呢啲故事人物一啲名啦，以便於讀者可以識別嘅。咁當然平時劫匪又唔會自動報上名來啦，但係我哋都可以用唔同分別外貌嘅方法去俾一啲特定嘅特徵佢哋嘅。例如 The Three Robbers, you can refer one of them as the man with long hair, the man with a rubber band on his hair, the tall young man, etc. The first armed man entering the jewelry shop, or the masked man, the second man holding a pistol, etc. Also think about, who are your supporting characters. So these are the friends or enemies of your main characters. They are the characters that help your story move along and also set a respective mood to your story or help characterize the main characters. So we can have different types of supporting characters. For example, villains are characters that block the main character from reaching a goal. 咁一啲小人就會阻擋主角去達成一啲目標啦。Allies, 盟友 are friends who help the main character reach a goal. 盟友係一啲幫助主角達成目標嘅朋友。Mentors, 智者 they are wise characters that help the main character. 一啲導師啦，佢哋係會幫一個主角去完成佢嘅任務。And finally, jokers, 一啲滑稽嘅角色 who help to bring humor to the story. 咁佢哋幫呢個故事帶嚟一啲幽默感啦。So remember, when planning your story, that your characters can change over the story. They can be dynamic, they don't have to be flat and stay the same all the way, especially when you're writing a slightly longer story. So a villain might start off as evil and then decide to help the main character solve the problem. So he will become both a friend and an enemy at the same time. Think of an interesting conflict, or that is a problem for the main character to overcome. Also think about having the main character meet his enemy or friends. So how does he meet them? For example, they might come together in some particular way that helps to make the story interesting. What obstacles are in his way? So this leads to the conflict or problem that may help lead up to the climax. The bigger the problem, the more interesting your story will be. So don't let the main character solve the problem right away. Build some tension. And also remember, the main character should be the one solving the problem at the end. Don't let someone or something come in the last part of your story to save the day. 即係唔好加入某人或者某件事，即係突然間喺故事最後有一部分入嚟力挽狂瀾啦。Decide on a plot or sequence of events that happen to the main character as he, she, or it tries to solve the problem. 咁就不宜加入一啲神仙、一啲萬能嘅人物，就將所有嘢搞掂晒啦。Did he, she, or it learn any lessons along with the events? 咁佢哋有冇一啲教訓或者一啲理論係可以帶走嘅呢？ What is the biggest event in the story or climax that leads to the solution to the problem? and also at last bring the story to a close. So the ending is also important, so don't 唔好爛尾啊. And this is also a good place to give out rewards or punishments to characters. So this is the end of the recording. Try the following exercise and enjoy your story writing.